Hi everyone, I'm Anjali and I'm with my colleague here.
Hi everyone, I'm Tamanna.
And we are co leading an organization called Shakti Shalini. We are based in Delhi, India. And we work on issues of gender and sexual violence and on gender equality. We are currently co leading the organization. And why are we here today? We are basically going to talk about long term funding, flexible funding, and trust based funding. And also want to talk about our experiences, how these sort of funding relationships with funders, how our experience um, has been for Shakti Shalini. So to begin with, I think the biggest difference that I can see when we talk about support from funders is basically the trust that we are able to build together. I think that goes a long way. Along with that, I feel that the we are partners in it, and if we are able to work on that and are able to keep the power behind, we will be able to focus on the long term change and uh, rather than focusing on short term metrics.
Mhm, mhm. I completely agree with Anjali. And I think what I'll add to that is that trust based funding, long term funding, and flexible funding allows organizations to be a little less anxious when it comes to resources and to then be able to double down and focus on building their core capacities, building their systems, building their programs, and on the impact that actually they set out to make rather than being in survival mode just because there isn't enough funds or the funds are so restricted that there isn't enough security. So that I think is a big difference. And some examples here are, one of our funders has provided us a grant entirely for team well-being, and that is such an amazing example that a funder recognized that the issue will only get served if the people who are working for the issue are well taken care of. So that's one example. And yeah.
I think, and for me, it would be putting a lot of value and time and energy and resources into building the capacities of the team. Because, I mean, of course, there is a lot of emotion attached and a lot of emotions on field, but we know that emotions alone will not be able to solve the purpose here. And we need trainings, we need skills, we need to learn strategies and approaches. And when funders are ready to invest in building the teams and in building the capacity and the training for the team members together, I think that also goes a long way for organizations.
Yeah, for example, one of our funders organized a training on fundraising and on compliance and on media and communications. So, that is an example of non financial support where if funders invest in that kind of training of the organization, those skills and that capacity building can also then circle back and lead to more resource generation for the organization. And how has this impacted the well-being of the team? It really has. So like I said earlier, there is one grant that is entirely for the well-being of the team, right? And herein, when it is long term, it is flexible, then the team leadership, the organization leadership can focus on building systems that nurture team, building systems that build team bonding, that build better communication skills amongst the team. And these are some ways, very tangibly, non financial ways, that our funders have supported us. Another benefit to flexible funding is that it helps fill gaps. So, if there are gaps coming in other project funds, but there are some flexible grants, those grants can absorb those gaps and those loopholes and help the organization go through difficult times. So, that's another really important benefit of flexible funding. Um,
And for me, I think there are many other ways that funders can support organizations beyond the money part. I mean, of course, money is important, but we also know that the networks and the platforms that the funders are a part of as institutions, as groups, I think they can really help grassroots organizations to amplify the voice and to take forward the work of the organizations on these platforms, where we will get more visibility, we will get more recognition for the work that we are doing, and maybe we'll draw more people to the work and on field to contribute and to volunteer in very many ways.
So, how do we build these trust based relationships? So, from the perspective of the organization, I think it's really important for organizations to also show up with consistency, with accountability. Accountability is built into trust. Accountability is not the opposite of trust or excluded from trust. So, trust is built over time, trust is built with consistency. And when funders lead with trust, they lead with confidence, and they lead with understanding and partnership and equality, then organizations must also show up like that. And in that sense, regular reporting and updates are very important, and sound financial management and also financial reporting. That accountability must come from organizations and trust must come from the funders. And then when that happens, then movements get built, and that becomes really exciting.
Yeah, and to add to that, I feel that when there is trust, we don't hesitate to share our challenges. And I think as we are calling it a partnership, it's important for us to be able to share what our grassroots and on field challenges are, so that they don't look at us from a different lens, but understand that why we are facing those challenges, and if we can, come together as a team and respond to those things. Other thing that I feel that we can cultivate that sort of trust in a relationship is through regular check-ins, because I feel often funders also do not have a lot of time, which I also understand that in a regular work it's kind of difficult for us as well. But I think a regular check-in sort of a thing with funders will also help an organization to feel more heard, because most of the times there are some annual presentations or evaluations that is something sits well in the system. However, I will not be able to summarize the work of an entire project in just 1 hour presentation. And I think that's also very key in this relationship building, that if we are meeting regularly, if we are talking regularly, the trust is getting built. And then we are able to look at the challenges as they are coming our way, and we'll be able to resolve it, or maybe able to do something about it.
All right. So, we see linkages between how we work with communities, how we work with the team, and the relationship between a funder and an organization. So even with the team, in leading a team, it's really important to lead with trust, not with suspicion. It's really important to lead with care and with nurture and with understanding and accountability. Accountability, as we repeatedly say, is part of trust. So so when we see the team being led that way, we also see the team responds really well. The team responds with a lot of appreciation and with a lot of hard work and a lot of sincerity and commitment. So the same goes for the relationship between the grant making institution and the grantee. That if the grantee receives trust and understanding, the grantee too will want to meet halfway and do their best in implementing the programs. So I think that's the power of trust and the power of accountability built into trust. So that is a direct parallel we see between team leadership and our relationship with our funders, which have largely been very, very trust based.
Another thing that I think we can do as organizations or leadership is to create a space to listen to people. I think the work is to connect with humans. And here I'm not just talking about the communities that we are working with, I'm talking about the team members, because it's everybody wants to be heard, everybody wants to be seen. And I think if we are able to create that space where we are listening to them, they are not feeling getting judged or not getting interrupted while they are saying something. I think that way also we'll be able to create an entire group. So then it's not just one individual against the patriarchy and the whole system, but we are just doing it together, and we care for each other.
So that's what we feel about funding that is A, trust based, B, long term, and C, flexible. And when that comes together, it really strengthens an organization and makes it possible for an organization to grow, not in a silo, but actually for movements to grow. And organizations are part of movements, including funding organizations are also part of movements. When it is long-term funding, flexible funding, and trust-based funding, not just organizations but entire movements can grow. Because movements need time and they need trust and they need adaptability and flexibility. So that's what we feel.